Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-star special issue, Kuz Manila, with none other than Kyle Kuzma himself.
Appreciate it,
Thank you
man.
for
Yes,
joining me,
sir.
brother. How is it going? How has Manila treated you so far?
Great. It's been a phenomenal half a day so far. Came in yesterday, went to the mall, a huge reception. You know, feel the love here. So
I know. I mean, speaking of love, easily 1,000 people or more were there to
yeah,
greet
for
you
sure.
when you arrived. I mean, were you expecting that kind of reaction? And when you saw it, did you have to stop for a second, take in your surroundings, and be like, wow?
Yeah, for sure. Going in there, it was an unbelievable feeling. I kind of expected it to be, a welcoming reception, but that would blew it all out the water. So
Amazing, amazing. Now, I've been told, Kyle, when you travel, you particularly like to look for great food
yeah.
spots, experiencing the culture of the country you're in. So, what kind of travel person are you? Do you just search for places to go on your phone, or do you just kind of like to walk around and be like, oh, that looks cool, let's go there?
A little bit of both. I'm definitely the travel person that I like to be outside. I like to be in the culture. You know, feel what it's like to be a citizen somewhere. So like sometimes I'm on my phone for sure. I definitely want to find the nicest places people like to eat, but also I like walking around and finding like a nice beef noodle soup place somewhere I can get some good you know um, local food. So it all depends.
So you've mentioned adobo a few
Yeah, yeah,
times, and you do have some Filipino friends like Jalen Green,
yeah.
Jordan Clarkson,
Hmm.
your barbers who you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Mhm.
So what have they told you about the Philippines food and others that's in your list of I have to try these things?
That I just have to try it. Like we talk about adobo, obviously I've mentioned it a million times, but there's another one. Is it lechon? Lechon? Lechon?
Lechon,
Yeah,
yeah.
lechon. Yeah, lechon. So there's a few different things that I need to go try for sure. So
Right. For sure, you have to. Now, let's talk a little bit about your fashion. I think it's safe to say you are one of the trendsetters, not only in the NBA, but sports all over the world. Take us through your process of coming up with an outfit for a day. Let's say you're about to go to a big game, right? National TV, TNT, ESPN, and the cameras are going to be rolling. How do you go about your process of, okay, that's what I'm going to wear to the game?
I just go off from how I feel, and also like I'm more about putting on looks, you know. Um, like for instance, what I have on now is like it all flows, it's all together. It all kind of makes sense. But sometimes you get a little wacky and you want to feel good and wear other things. So a lot of it just depends on like my mood and how I'm feeling that day on what I want to wear. So
If you had to give me your top three favorite fits of all time that you've ever worn, what would you pick?
top three, mm, pink sweater. I wear this big puffy jacket.
Right.
Um, third one is tough. I don't know. Anytime I wear leather, I love leather.
Leather.
Yeah, I just think I look really good in
You
leather.
can never go wrong with
Yeah, I
leather,
can't.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit of hoops. You signed an extension recently with the Washington Wizards,
Yep.
and a lot of people who watch the NBA assume that guys who go to teams that aren't contending want to go there for a while and eventually join a contender. But you literally put actions to your words by committing to Washington. How committed are you to the Wizards long term, and do you want to be there as the Wizards turn things around and become a playoff contender again one day?
Yeah, for sure. I think that was my plan originally, and you know, we have a new front office now, and I think I love what they do, and it's only a matter of time until we're much better. And I think when you look at the NBA, um, like who's really a contender? You don't really know a lot. There's teams that every year they're better than expected and show up. So, in the NBA, especially look the last couple of years, it's been a new champion every year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not who you expect at the beginning of the year. So, um, maybe one day we are one of those. So,
I think maybe one day for sure.
yeah.
What do the Wizards need to do, given that you have already won an NBA championship? What do the Wizards need to do to turn things around and get to the level where the elite teams are?
Um, get a little older, get a little bit more wiser, a little bit more mature on the court, um, you know, which we are doing. I think what the front office has done really well was right now we look like a basketball team now. And I think the past couple of years has been a little funky, but modern basketball. We have electric guard in Jordan Poole. We have wings, whether it's me and Bilal, um, George, which we just drafted. We have a big and Sar that can really affect games defensively because he's so long and his defensive instincts are amazing. So we're building a team right now, and I think over the next couple of years, hopefully we have a good draft pick next year. That'll help. Hopefully we get somebody that wants to come and join what we're trying to build here. So um, yeah,
Quick yes or no. Playoffs this year for the Wizards?
I mean that's always the goal for sure. I think playoffs is very very tough when you look at the top six teams, but we have a chance to fight early for a playing game for sure, and I don't see why we can't.
Can you share some stories from the 2020 Lakers championship team in the bubble? What made that team so close and propelled you guys to really have a dominant playoff run?
Um, just our friendship. I think everybody got along 1 through 17, and I think that was like the most important thing because you see it all the times. The teams that get along the best are usually the better teams in the NBA, and that's what we kind of rode on together, and we all trusted each other. We had obviously LeBron, one of the greatest players of all time, and Anthony Davis, a lot of smart, high IQ vets, whether it was Danny Green and KCP and Dwight and JaVale. Like we had guys that were hungry, whether it was me being young and Caruso being young. So yeah, we had a squad.
Do you think you guys would have gone back to back if AD doesn't get hurt in 2021?
Yeah, for sure. Easily. Easily. I mean, we were up 2-1 and then he got hurt and then it kind of went down the drain. And that season was hard for us because Brian got hurt. Solomon Hill ran into him. AD was hurt up and down. We had a lot of different lineups because we came back. The bubble. We won a championship in October, and then we had to play by like
2 months
December,
later,
two
yeah.
months later. So naturally it was tough, but we would have won back to back easily. Like, and everybody knew it too.
I mean, obviously, now that you're in Washington, blessings have come a certain way. But do you ever think what would have happened had you stayed in LA after the 2021 season? Do you guys think you'd be contending until now for the championship?
For sure, 100%. I think it was tough. Because I think they kind of gave up on me, and they gave up on like that team too,
Yeah,
a little too early. Um, Probably panicked a little bit. But in the NBA, things happen fast.
right.
You never know what's going to happen next, and it's always like a revolving door. So we had a tough little stretch, but it happens. So.
Just a quick thought back in the bubble. I heard you guys had some pretty intense Madden games in the rooms in the bubble. How did those
Yeah,
go?
a lot of guys. So our team, I don't play video games,
Yeah.
but yeah, we had like a full-on Madden tournament. Like I think we had like 6 to 8 guys that were
Wow.
playing, and they had like the boards up, and yeah, they were locked in. They
Who
were
won?
super locked. I don't remember who won. I really don't. I really don't. But I know Brown was really good. Quinn Cook was good. But those guys, they love Madden. They played a lot.
Speaking of Braun, can you share the important lessons you learned from your time with LeBron and your time with Kobe Bryant? And how do those two guys differ as leaders? I know you weren't teammates with Kobe, but you got to spend time with him. But just as alphas and legends, how are they different?
They're different. They're different, but they're very similar at the same time. I would say. People like rah rah about Kobe and this, and rightfully so. And I do the same. But I seen Bron like his mindset is unbelievable. You got to think this is somebody that when he came into the NBA, his expectation was to be the greatest, or he was going to be a bum. Like that's what his expectation was, and he lived up to that. Like I don't think people really understand how crazy that is, and he's a crazy guy. Like clearly, he's playing basketball for 20 plus years. Um, you've seen him in the Olympics, like it's unbelievable. So
Now, you and LeBron had to some degree similar upbringings, being raised by a single mom, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken. Did you two ever connect about that? And can you tell us about your experience and what your mother means to you? I mean, she must mean the world to you.
Yeah, I don't think we never really connected about that, but like I said, my mom means a lot. Obviously, she raised me pretty well, and you know, you you see as you grow up, what a two-parent household looks like to having a single parent household. So um, obviously, I think we wouldn't change anything because of how life has turned out, but my mom is such a huge inspiration to me. Just the way she carried herself, carried us, cared for us. So,
So, what was it like when you finally made those NBA paychecks and you got to tell your mom, you don't have to work anymore, now I get to take care of you?
I mean, she still works now, but just a little bit easier. She runs our foundation,
Mm-mm.
and that's work, and but it's not necessarily like the hard work, the 9 to 5 stuff. But she still works. Like she owns her own like massage spa, and she loves it. That's always been like a passion of hers. So.
Does she criticize you sometimes after games if you have a bad
All the
game?
time. Yeah, she's my biggest. That's the funny thing though. Like I've always been criticized by her, because she played basketball and she knows basketball. Like we can talk basketball. She watches not just my games. She watches other games of
Mm-mm.
players. Um, so yeah, it was always good. And I think to have like parents that actually were invested into the sport, that know about it, you know, made our household like that. So.
You mentioned you have respect for the great Pat Riley, even if you didn't get to play for him. Why is that so, and how did that respect start? Did you ever get to interact with him?
Never, I've never had a chance to interact with Pat, but I've always admired him. Um, I just admired his like just no nonsense approach when it came to basketball, and being professional. Because that's me. When I'm off the court, I'm very fun. I'm very, I have all these different passions. But when I step in between the lines, basketball, I'm very, very serious because I love it and it's important to me. So, I just love what he stands for. And when you look at his just um, toolage of the sport resume, from the Showtime years up until just building what the Heat culture is, it's pretty phenomenal. So,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Now, recently we got to see the best of the world compete in the Olympics. Last year we got to see the best of the world compete in the World Cup. Of course, it would be great if one day you get to play for USA basketball in the Olympics. I'm sure it's a dream of yours, right? But we're also seeing players now play for other nations,
yeah.
and even players from America open to being naturalized as a player for other nations. Is that something you would ever consider, like playing for another nation?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. I think, my number one goal is to play with Team USA
Right.
for sure. In the Olympics, 100% in 4 years. I had an opportunity to play Team USA back in 2019 FIBA World Cup before I broke my foot. But yeah, I think it's really cool that other players are going other places to play because it's very, very tough to play for Team USA. It's the top of the top. And, it's a little political at sometimes, but, um, I'm just going to work really hard and, hopefully one day I can get back there. So.
We're in the Philippines, so I have to ask, if the Philippines ever asked you if you'd be open to play for their national team, how would you feel about that?
I mean, if I didn't play for Team USA,
Yes.
I mean, I could rock out with JC. It'd be
Mm.
cool. Yeah, it'd be cool.
You and JC together with the Philippines on your
Yeah, it'd be
chest.
cool. Yeah.
All right, last question. In 10 years, where is Kyle Kuzma as a basketball player, as a businessman off the court, and just as a human being? Where do you
Well,
want to
I mean,
be?
hopefully, I'm still playing basketball for sure. Just taking care of my body is going to help me get there, and then businessman is going to be very interesting where I'm at. Because I've started at a young age. I've always had that type of acumen. So, um, you know, hopefully, a lot of money in my future. So, yeah.
Kyle Kuzma, stylish on the court, stylish off the court, and a great person overall. Thank you so much,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Much
Appreciate it.
appreciated.
Yes, sir.